ASTOUND. Boris flies in face of unsettled legal threat as fostering Priti Patel amid bullying plea. Downing Street faces a looming court challenge over Boris Johnson's decision to stand by Priti Patel on bullying allegations, in a case set to reignite questions about the government's stance on standards. The Prime Minister was criticised for disregarding the findings of an investigation into the Home Secretary's behaviour carried out by his independent ethics advisor last year. Sir Alex Salland's report said that Ms. Patel's behaviour, said to include some instances of shouting and swearing, had been in breach of the ministerial code, even if unintentionally. However, Mr. Johnson decided that Ms. Patel had not breached the ministerial code, and instead urged Conservative MPs to form a square around the Pritster. As PM and ultimate arbiter, Mr. Johnson has the final say on whether the ministerial code has been broken. Consequently, a judicial review of the PM's decision has successfully been brought forward by the FDA union, and will be heard at the Royal Courts of Justice next Wednesday and Thursday. The FDA union represents civil servants in the United Kingdom. Speaking ahead of the court hearing, Dave Penman, the General Secretary of the FDA, said, "The Prime Minister, as the final arbiter of the ministerial code and Minister for the Civil Service, has a duty to ensure that civil servants can work with ministers without fear of being bullied or harassed." The union leader claimed Mr. Johnson's decision potentially allows ministers to avoid the consequences of their behaviour in future by pleading that it should be the intent of their actions which is important, not the consequences. The result is that civil servants' confidence in challenging unacceptable behaviour from ministers has been fatally damaged. That is why we are asking the court to rule that the Prime Minister misdirected himself. Mr. Penman insisted the legal challenge was not an attempt to make the Home Secretary face sanctions, but about decisions made by the Prime Minister. This is simply about how the ministerial code is interpreted. Following Mr. Johnson's decision, the Home Secretary reached a six-figure settlement with the former Permanent Secretary of her department, Sir Philip Rutnam. This was after claims surfaced that he was forced out of his position for intervening in Ms. Patel's alleged bullying. Whitehall sources suggested Mr. Rutnam received a £340,000 settlement, with an added £30,000 in costs. Lord Evans, chair of the government's Independent Standards Committee, has urged the government to restrict MPs from holding some second jobs. He said his committee had made recommendations as far as 2018 that MPs should be banned from holding consultancy and advisory jobs. We recommended that MPs should not accept any paid work to provide services such as parliamentary strategists, or advisors, or consultants, because that was in tension with the main job, he said on Thursday. For Mr. Johnson and his government, the court challenge emerges at a difficult time. Last week saw a failed attempt to save ex-Tory MP Owen Paterson from suspension, which has only increased pressure on the government with regards to various sleaze claims. Mr. Johnson insisted that Britain is not remotely a corrupt country amid continuing fallout over sleaze concerns. But Labour claimed the PM's failure to apologise for his role in undermining public trust in politics proved that he doesn't care about tackling corruption.